Hi, it's Martin and welcome to another video on my Knit365 YouTube channel. Today's video is my August wrap-up where I get to sit down and talk to you about all of the things I got up to during August. Don't check the calendar, it's not September yet. I know I usually do this in the new month, but given where we are today in the UK, it is Monday the 29th of August. It is a bank holiday in the UK, and whether I record this video today or later in the week, I'm not going to have any more finished objects. So I thought I would use the opportunity of the bank holiday and get this video recorded and then uploaded. And I've got a few more plans for September videos as well. So it's nice to get this one out of the way, if you like. So the next couple of Mondays will hopefully have some content that we can share with you too. So yeah, this is my monthly wrap up. I've got some, as usual, works in progress. We'll talk about finished objects. I don't really have any finished objects, but I have got something that's kind of a contribution to a finished object that I will share with you. There are some new cast-ons, one I can talk about, one I can't. And then we'll share some acquisitions and some plans for the month ahead. So I hope that you are all well, and I hope that you've got a hot drink, or a cold drink, or an alcoholic beverage, depending on where you are in the world. As usual, I like to do these early in the morning while Mark is sleeping, have some peace and quiet. And it's about 8:45, so I'm on my second coffee of the day. I've got a load of stuff here. So I hope that you've got a knitting project or a crochet project to keep you company, and you join me for the next 45 minutes maybe. It definitely won't be as long as some of the others, I don't think, because I don't have any finished objects to show off. So it should be quicker, but we'll see as always. So I hope that you enjoy, and let's get straight into it then. As usual, I like to start with a declaration of works in progress. I know you all like this as well because you often use me as the, well, Martin's got this many works in progress, and you all feel better about the fact that you might only have 3 or 4. So last month I started with 12 works in progress. I've kind of finished one, which we'll come on to in a minute. So that one doesn't count because that was started and finished in a month. And I have 2 new cast-ons this month. So I'm currently up to 14. It's going in the wrong direction with the mystery knit along coming. More on that later. We've had the email about the West Knits mystery knit along. Very excited. So yeah, we're up to 14 works in progress now. And I think I said last month, oh, what I need to do now is I need to finish some things. I need to like tick some things off and get them gone. Yeah, we haven't done that. I've made progress to getting things ticked off, but I haven't made as much progress as I wanted to. I think we kind of need to cut ourselves some slack, don't we, during these summer months, especially in the UK when we have summer. We don't get like nice summer like you folks in America or Australia or even parts of Europe where you get really good dry heat and it's hot, but it's lovely. In the UK, we just get this hot, sticky, humid. You can't really do anything apart from sit outside in a beer garden, which is great, but I can't really take my knitting to a beer garden, not all the time. I have done before. But yeah, it's just been too hot to craft, and yeah, so I've not done as much as I had planned to, and certainly we've had a lot of days this month where I haven't knit or crochet at all. And I know this is called the Knit365 blog because I try to do a little bit every day, and I haven't. Work has been particularly stressy. So there's been some nights I've come home from work and I'm just like, I can't, I put something mindless on, and we've just watched mindless TV. So I'm hoping we'll get August out of the way. We'll write August off. Although there's some progress, so like stick around because there's a lot to show you. But we'll kind of write August off with I'm going to tick through things quickly, and maybe that'll be September's plan. So yeah, so 14 works in progress, and I guess as I have no real finished objects, the only thing I mentioned this last month that I was contributing to a mystery project, and I can't really tell you any more than that because it's still a mystery. What I can tell you is because this has been out on social media, and I think I've retweeted it on my Twitter account. I don't think I put anything on Instagram yet, as at Monday, because I've not seen anything that I can reshare, and it's not my project. But I've been contributing some squares in intarsia with a design towards a jumper. That's all I'm going to kind of say, which I know is a bit cryptic, but I am going to count these as a finished object, I think, because I did knit them and they are finished. But these are some of the squares. So there was a dragon, so you might be able to tell the theme of the jumper. So we had a dragon. I loved doing that one. We had a Welsh love spoon. And there's two others, but the two others will maybe give away what the theme is. So I know this is really cryptic and I know this isn't great content, but you're just going to have to work with me on the basis that I've done 4 squares towards this project. You've seen 2 of them. They were knit with some chunky wool, and I gave the wool back that I had used. It was from a local Welsh supplier, I believe, but it was a chunky wool knit on a 6mm needle, and as I said, they were done intarsia style, and there have been 9 or 10 knitters that have contributed lots of squares, and this is going to be turned into a jumper by Charlotte of Twin Made, whose details I put on the last video, and I'll pop them below again if you want to go and check out Charlotte's Instagram. The most colourful, vibrant, bonkers patterns. And yeah, that's going to be launched next weekend, I think. So next month in my wrap up, I will try and put a photo of the finished jumper. But I had so much fun doing it. What I did realise is I don't really like doing intarsia flat on chunky needles. Obviously Mark's jumper is intarsia flat, I'm not going to stop that one, but on chunky needles I realised my tension was quite different between my knit stitches and my purl stitches on such big needles and such big yarn, to the point that one of the squares I had gauge on stitch gauge, but my row gauge was considerably out, to the point that the squares needed to be a certain height, and I missed off 10 rows. I know. And that took me, it was about a week's worth of knitting. So this is relevant to this video as to why I've not made as much progress, because I took part in that secret project, and it was about a week of knitting that I got involved in. But it was super fun to get to meet some local knitters, to me in South Wales, but also chat to people from around wider Wales. Charlotte brought us together for this secret project, did a bit of a shout out on Instagram and Twitter. I'm looking for some knitters that can knit some squares for a bonkers project. That was kind of the call out. So I had a lot of fun taking part in that, and it was really nice to, you know me, I love to get involved in these types of things, and I was like, yeah, I can do those squares, but have a bit of a break from some of my other projects, because I knew they would be quick. We're in, we make a square, we're out. So I've done those, and yeah, I really do love this Welsh flag. And I've kind of got the pattern now, and I'm wondering, like, maybe for one of the nieces or the nephew probably, because I didn't have to make one of them then, like trying to adapt that into like the front of a jumper or the back of a jumper for him. Very patriotic. So that was my secret plan. So I'm going to claim those as one finished object. So actually, I should be kind to myself. Yeah, I'm going to have, so we have one finished object this month. But they were started and finished within the month. Other things that I've been knitting on now, and I did say to you all that I would finish this month. I've lost the ball. I'm all tied up. I did say that I would have this finished this month, and it's not. It's the blanket. I'm in a mess because I started recording on the floor. Bear with. I started recording on the floor and then realised that I was too much in the sun. Oh, now it's tied on Mark's jumper. Oh, you'll just have to make... Will we make do? Yeah, we'll make do. No, we won't. There we go. Hang on. I can do this. I can do this. All my yarns are in a mess. Right. Yes, I started on the floor. So I had everything set out in a semicircle around me as per, and then decided that I couldn't film there, so I had to move. So this is my habitation throw. And I said that I would have this finished during August, which I haven't done. However, I'm so close to having it finished. So I have this much to go. When you saw this last month, I was just on the halfway point. I think I just finished the decrease, and I was setting this up because we were off to the beach for the Stitches on the Sand show. Thank you all for your love on that video. It seems you all loved seeing the seaside and just hearing the waves and the lapping of the sea, and it was lovely. Such a gorgeous weekend away. But I think I was about the halfway point. So I've finished the halfway and I'm now on the red section. I have this much left of the red. And then after the red, I have the brown and the black, and that's it. So I'm nearly there with this one. This one should be done this month because Mark's jumper is the other main thing that I'm working on. And if I need a bit of a break or we're watching something with subtitles, I'll work on this one. But you can see, so the red here is the equivalent of the blue here. So the blue one here had 4 eyelet rows. I've just done 2 eyelet rows, so I'm about halfway through the red ball, I think. So it's getting there, and of course, every time I knit a right side row, I am decreasing by a stitch either side. So it is getting shorter, so it will get quicker to knit. But this was the yarn collaboration that Jude from Stranded Dye Works put together. I'll put a link to Jude's YouTube channel below. He's got some amazing dye studio videos and how he dyes stuff, and he's recently just been stocked in Stephen and Penelope, which is a super fun thing to be able to say your yarn business stocks Stephen and Penelope. Jude dyes up at home in Scotland, and he's just got a studio as well, which is super cool. So this was a collaboration with 10 or 11 different dyers, and obviously in the Pride colours, so they were all LGBTQ plus dyers. And I bought this wool, I think I got it back in May, wasn't sure what to do, decided on the habitation throw then. And I'm really glad I did, because it really shows off such a simple pattern, but it really shows off all the colours and all the sort of the speckles that you can see. So I'm really, really enjoying this project. And I will definitely get that finished. So I've made progress this month, but not as much as I planned. This is really annoying me. Bear with. Not as much as I had planned, but I've made progress nonetheless. So I hope that this will be finished maybe even this week, possibly this week, next week, because I don't have that much to go. And then what I'll do is I'll show off properly when it's a finished object and it's been blocked. I'll show you the finished length and how big it is, and then I will share all the details again of the wonderful dyers that helped create the colours for this collaboration. So that's one finished object, and now I wound that ball up and I've now dropped it on the floor. Why did I bother? Right. I'm going to have more coffee. This is going to be one of those videos. So that's the main... No, that's not the main work in progress. That's one of the works in progress that I've had this month. And I've made great progress. The other work in progress this month that I've been working on and really trying to make a dent in, and I feel like I'm just getting there, and I'm really disappointed in myself, is Mark's jumper. And there was a little bit of me last night that thought about delaying this video until next Monday, because I will have had the back finished, I think, by next Monday. I'm that close. I am 26 rows off finishing the back, and I'm so close to getting it done. And I'm going to show you now. It's fine. I'm not just going to talk to you. I'm so close to getting it done, and I didn't. And I was just like, why didn't I get this finished? Because I said to you, I'd love to get this finished in August and start the front. But hey ho. So last time you saw this, I think I had just started the cast off. This is a bit weird because I've got another video going for the jumper, and I'm not sure whether I'm talking to you now where I talked to you last month or whether I've been talking to the video. So if you didn't see it this far, then I apologize if we've got a bit of a continuity error. I do have stitch counters in, but I should move them and I just keep forgetting. But I think last time you saw this, we had just started the armhole shaping. And as you can see, I've now finished the armhole shaping. Let me step back so you can see if I stand up. So we finished the armhole shaping, and I now knit straight until the armhole measures 9 inches. So great progress has been made on Mark's jumper, because I feel like it's a huge achievement to get the armholes done, because that's all the shaping on the jumper finished then, because as I said, it's now just straight knit up. I've got about 3 inches left to knit, and when I had a look roughly as to what 3 inches is, I think it's about 26 rows in the pattern. So I might get half of that, if not more, done today. It's Bank Holiday Monday. I'm going to meet a friend for coffee and a walk. It's her birthday today. So I'm going to go out for some fresh air and a walk mid-afternoon, and then Mark and I are going to go out for tea. Don't know where we're going to go yet. Just to get out of the flat and enjoy a bonus Monday. So I'll do some work on this today, but I'm not sure that I'll finish it today. But it's near as damn it. This will be finished this month, because I've just got the 3 inches then of straight knitting, and then I cast off the shoulders, cast off the back neck, and then cast off the shoulder. So it won't take me very long at all. And then this will be a video that will be coming. Spoiler for that video, I made a mistake. I had to undo a couple of rows. It went into timeout. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen on my stories that we had to have some time apart yesterday. Never mind, it's fine. But I'm nearly there, and I did beat myself up because I was like, if you hadn't had those nights when you didn't do any knitting, you'd been a couple of nights further forward. If you had got up early when you knew it was going to be a hot day, you could have done a few rows. And I think we put too much pressure on ourselves. Like, this is a hobby. This is meant to be fun. I'm not knitting as a business. I'm not knitting for money. And yeah, I kind of gave myself a bit of a talking to, and I shook my head and I was like, no, come on. This is silly. Look, you've made great progress in the month to the point that the back is nearly finished now. But what it did make me realize actually is I pretty much kind of went from about here to here yesterday. So I got a good couple of inches done on it. And granted, I knit most of the day, and by the end of the day, I kind of had knitter's hand. I could feel it pull in my forearm. But if I have the same concentration this month, I could get a way up the front as well. I'm not putting pressure on myself. I haven't just told you all that I'd like beat myself up that I hadn't finished it. But it does go to show, me especially, I get quite distracted easily, as I'm sure you can imagine. But I find myself, like, I'll knit a couple of rows, then I'll put it down, and I'll have a look at Instagram, or I'll have a look at Twitter, and I put it down on I've had an email in on my phone, so I'm looking, and I get really distracted by my phone. But yesterday, I sat down, I put on a 3-hour crime drama documentary thing. I barely checked my phone because I was in the zone with the knitting, I was in the zone with the TV. Mark didn't fancy watching it and had a TV series that he was watching. So he was in the bedroom watching telly. I was in the living room on my own. And I just made great progress. And I know this isn't revolutionary, right? And for all of you that are not addicted to your phones like me, you'll be like, yeah, just put your phone down. I guess I'm just saying, I kind of surprised myself actually at how much I got done in a short space of time, that I keep banging on about this project. and it's never going to be finished. I'm never going to finish it. Oh, the mystery knit along's come in, and like I could make a dent in September, I think, if I really focused just on my habitation throw and this. And I've got a secret test knit, which we'll come on to in a minute. But if I really focus on just a small number of projects, I'm sure I could make progress on this. Mark has been very generous and has given me a deadline of December. We are planning a proper winter trip away because we didn't manage to get away this summer for a break because of flight delays and many other reasons. So we're going to plan a Christmas trip away, which will hopefully tie in with Vlogmas as well. We are potentially planning a 3-stop Oslo, Stockholm, Copenhagen, which will just be amazing. And to my point earlier about feeling comfortable in woolly clothes and mittens and jumpers and shawls, and that'll be amazing. Hopefully it'll be snowing. And so if you are Scandinavian based and you are near any of those three, let me know, because we could meet up in a coffee shop, or let me know the knitting shops that I need to go to. But he wants this done for December so that he can wear it when we go away, which I think is achievable, except that the mystery knit along is coming, but it's fine. It'll get done. So I'm going to try and make a dent in this during September. I'll have the back finished this week. I'm going to start the front. The ribbon should fly through because it literally is just 2x2, and then I can start. But I'm definitely not going to put it down because I'm in the rhythm of the colour work now, and I'm actually finding I'm referring to the pattern less and less because it is intuitive. I've knit it so many times, so many repeats now of, you know, that, oh, that cream is going that way and the charcoal is going that way because of where the diamonds are crisscrossing. So enough about that project, because you're all probably bored of seeing it. But just to say, I've nearly finished the back. So all of you that keep saying to me, where's Mark's jumper? Where's Mark's jumper? I'm getting there, I'm getting there. I feel like this is like a community project now, that you're all as invested in this jumper as I am and as Mark is. But there will be another video coming on this. As I said, like the mistake I made, that's in the video, yarn management. At the moment, it's only up to 14 minutes. It's going to be a podette. It'll just be a little mini video, but that's going to come during September as well. I want to finish the back, and then I'm going to sew some ends in, and we'll do a bit of that in the video. So that will be coming during September. If you get to like the last week in September and that video hasn't appeared, then feel free to give me a nudge, because that obviously means I haven't finished the back. That's not going to happen. I think he'll be putting me out on the roof if I don't finish his jumper soon. So they were the two main works in progress that I worked on during the month. The other thing that you usually see for my finished object and or a work in progress would be something from Toft, and I have no Toft creations this month. If I had my bag of shame, I would put my bag of shame on. I haven't done my bird for this month, so I'm now behind with my Christmas birds, which with all of the other things I've got coming up is kind of like, it's worrying me in the back of my mind about all the things that I've overcommitted to do, but it's fine. I did know that this would happen, which is why I kept some of my simpler birds till the end so I can rattle through them. Ultimately, my 12 birds is one a month, but it's 12 birds of Christmas. As long as they're done by December, it'll be fine. So I will try and do 2 this month, or I'll try and do 1 this month, and at some point I'll catch up. I can do a bird in a day. Like if I get up early in the morning, I can finish it late at night, I can get it stuffed and sewn. So there's no Toft 12 birds. And last month I showed off, I don't think I have her pattern card with me. No, last month I showed off the new Ed's Dolls Club, which was Nina Simone, and said I might try and, wasn't sure what my strategy was going to be. Like, do I start the new one? Because I've got all of the other women who made history collection. And I think that I settled on, I would make the new ones and then go backwards and try and catch up. But I haven't started Nina. She's in a box as well. Mark's jumper is much more important. Are you all cheering? Can I polish my halo for like prioritizing Mark over everything else, and not being distracted by other projects? So I've not made any Toft creations, and I also didn't get round to starting my Ladybird. And I don't think I'm then going to be able to submit that because my Ladybird will be due by, I think it's the 2nd of September. It might be the 5th of September, but like it's this week and I've not started it. She's still in a box. I might see, like maybe this afternoon, if I've made a bit of progress on that jumper, I can maybe see if I could bash out a ladybird. She only needs to make one ladybird and then submit it to be part of the photo competition. But I was going to do a video on that as well, and it all feels a bit rushed now, so I'm probably not going to do that. We'll see. So there's a few things that I said I was going to do last month that I didn't, but I think that's okay because I pared down my to-do list and I focused on the important things. So onto new cast-ons then, I guess, because they're the other things that I have been working on. One I cannot talk about at all. It is a test knit. I can't tell you the yarn, the pattern, the style, the anything, but it's relevant to mention because I've put a good few hours into this test knit. It's got a short delivery time of the 12th of September, I think. I'm on track to finish that. I've been doing that. It's a portable project, so it's not a jumper or a shawl. So I can take it out and about with me. So I had a couple of work days in London last week, so I was able to do a bit of knitting on the train there and back, for example. So it hasn't been distracting me from Mark's jumper, but it's probably taken a bit more time on the habitation throw, actually. That's probably why I've not finished the shawl, because I've diverted my other knitting time to this said project. I'm going to record a bit of footage when I've finished it to show it off. But I'm not allowed to talk about it until the pattern gets released. So I'm sorry for being cryptic, but I have signed up to be a test knitter for someone, which is super exciting. And when I've shared the first one, you'll then know who the test knitter is, and then, or who I'm test knitting for now. And then maybe I can tell you I'm doing another test knit for that person. But I'm really excited about it, but I can't really tell you anymore. But you will get to see it. So there will be another finished object. I think the pattern is out November time, November, December. I think they said winter, which I take to be November, December. But at some point the pattern will come. So I apologize, but trust me, it's a new cast on, it's lovely. And I've done a lot of knitting on it to the point that it's nearly finished. And I think I can get that finished this week as well, hopefully. Slurper tea, how are we doing for time? Half an hour? That's okay. We're definitely going to be the end of the hour. I'm nearly finished, I think. Right, the other new project. It's a new cast on and it's a jumper for me. Yay! I know. Right, I need my iPad a minute because I need to find the pattern so that I can show you what it looks like. So, if you've been here for a while, you will know that I went to the Unravel Festival in February. I'm going to Unravel again in 2 weekends' time. More on that at the end of the video. I went to the Unravel Festival and I wanted to buy some yarn. I'm very good when I go to yarn shows. I have a purpose. I know what I want to buy and I only really buy for that. Unless there's a scheme, like the Stitches on the Sand, the Defying Gravity yarn jumped out at me. I'm quite good, I go with a list. And I wanted to make the Hide and Peak sweater. So this is by Max Cyr. Max designs as part of Le Garçon with his partner Vincent. And Max's jumper is just glorious. And the thing I love about this pattern in particular is the way the colour work looks like there's multiple colours, but it's actually only 3 contrast colours and then a main colour. And I just love the way, so like in Max's, you can see it's yellow and blue, then it's yellow and green, then it's green and pink, then it's pink and blue, pink. And actually they're just 3 colours, but by alternating the contrast colour that it's paired with makes it look like this really graphic, vibrant yoke. And I wanted to make it for a while. I've made a few of Max's patterns and I really love them. And I bought some wool to make a hide and peak with. But I bought the wool in February. I did my usual, bought the wool, put it in my stash. When will I cast it on? I've got too many other projects. I can't start something new, blah, blah, blah. I'll finish Mark's jumper and I'll do something for me. And I hadn't. However, the yarn is Opus yarns. is Walcott yarns, and it's their Opus yarn. And it is so squishy. This is 70% Argentinian merino, 30% baby alpaca, 100% awesome. That's what it says on the label. And this, the colours I have, I can't remember which way round they go because I've taken all the labels off because I've wound them. But we have spearmint, ink, which is the main colour, which you'll see shortly, cove, and taffy. I think this might be cove or taffy. This is spearmint. Then we have ink. And then this is either cove or taffy. It's cove and taffy. You decide which one is which. I can't remember. If Kieran or Carmen from A Yarn Story and Walcott Yarns are watching this, they will know which is which. Maybe they can comment in the box below. So I bought the yarn and I didn't really get very far, apart from buying the yarn, and it just sat in my stash. It was brilliant at Unravel, and the thing I love about yarn shows where you are going with a purpose is you get to meet the makers. So I knew that I wanted yarn to make this, and I knew I kind of wanted these kind of colours, but I wanted to steer away from grey because I always go for the grey. And Carmen was there, the owner of A Yarn Story, the yarn shop in Bath, but also the owner of Walcott Yarns, the brand for the wool. And she's like, what about a pink? And I was like, oh, would never ever have thought about picking pink. But it was great to have someone that doesn't really know you, and I always gravitate to blues and greys, but great for someone to be able to sort of say, I think that goes really well. And I was like, do you know what, Carmen? I think you're right. So I bought the yarn, but I didn't get very far because I had too many other things that I wanted to do. However, Carmen from A Yarn Story is now hosting a men's knit-along that is running from last Monday, the 20-something of August, until the 31st of October. And you're either a male knitter or you're knitting for a man, or it's a male pattern. You can kind of, as long as there's a link, kind of, you join in the knit-along. And I thought that that would be a good idea to be able to start the project, but see how much progress I can make between now and October. And the idea being that every Monday, there's a Zoom call between 8 and 9. And this can be my Monday project. So on a day when I've got my non-work day, I can do some of the urgent tasks that I need to do at home, and appointments and pottering around and laundry and all that kind of stuff. But then my knitting time, I could finish a toff bird or do a bit on Mark's jumper. But I can spend the afternoon then working on my hide and peak in preparation for the Monday night call. If I'm in work on that Monday, then when I get home from work, I can put a couple of hours in on that. I can sit down on the Zoom, and I'm only going to knit on it on a Monday night. And I've kind of said to Mark, that's my promise. I'm going to start a new project. Well, what about my jumper? And we agreed that it would be nice to be able to do the Zoom call, meet other knitters, and start something new. So I haven't cast on. Well, I have cast on, but I haven't cast on, which is why I'm talking about this now as a new cast on. But I am going to properly cast on tonight on the Zoom call. I've swatched. I know, right? We're all going to need a cup of tea to celebrate that. And the reason I swatched is because this is new to me yarn. I've never used this before. And even though it's more of a commercial yarn rather than an indie dyed, independent, hand dyed yarn, I know from knitting a few of Max's patterns previously, they are so well written and they look gorgeous when they're finished, but I struggle to match Max's tension. The 2 projects that I've made, 3 projects that I've made, whatever, I've really struggled to match his tension. I've had to go up a couple of needle sizes. So I knew that I wanted to swatch before I started. So this is what I did. And I started to swatch, and I swatched flat. No, I swatched in the round and then I cut it. I'll talk about that in a moment. But I swatched and I washed it and I dried it and I didn't get gauge. And the reason I haven't then cast on and made more progress is on the Monday Zoom call last week, because it was the first one, Carmen was happy to take questions and talk about gauge. And even though I've been knitting 7 years now, gauge just still confuses me. I still don't understand it properly, that, oh, I've got too many stitches. Does that mean I go up a needle size or I go down? Could I stay on that gauge but just knit a bigger size if I like the fabric? And I just get really confused by it, and I'm absolutely not an expert, and you are not going to get any gauge advice from me, other than I think I'm going to fall in love with swatching. Who thought I'd say that, right? But I didn't get gauge on my swatch, so I waited for the Zoom call to chat with Carmen. Kieran used to work at a yarn store, and Kieran was on the call. Kieran also didn't get gauge on the pattern to start with and went up 2 needle sizes. So we kind of chatted on the Zoom call about what Kieran did, and we did some maths with Carmen if I've got this many stitches and this many inches. And so Carmen really helped me out. So thank you to Carmen if you ever watch this video. And it's not too late to join in the knit along if you have a pattern in mind. The only stipulation said is kind of a male link, but you need to knit one of Max's patterns. I don't think I mentioned that. It's a knit along for Max's patterns. You don't need to use yarn bought from a yarn story, but you do need a ticket that you can buy from their website and join in. So yeah, so thank you to Carmen and to Kieran for helping me swatch and decide on my size. But then by the time I worked that out on the Zoom call, it was like 8:45 last Monday night. It was way too late to be thinking about casting on. So I'm going to cast on. I'm going to try and cast on this afternoon, just that I've got my cast on. I'm in the round. I'm not twisted, or my stitches aren't twisted. And then I can join tonight's Zoom call and I can make some progress on the collar. But in terms of my colours, I really like how they play together. And if nothing else, even though this swatch is too small, it helped me know that I didn't get gauge with the recommended needles, with the needles in the pattern. Of course, it recommends that you use whatever needle you need to get gauge. But I'm glad I did this so that I could see how the colours play together. And I like this one at the end, because even though it's really low contrast between the sort of the teal and the navy, that's kind of how it's going to go into the body. So this is how the swatch will sit. So I'm going to have this flash of pink around my neck, coming into these minty greens, and then into the teal, which from a distance you can just about make it out. But it's not quite a fade, but it's almost, that fades into the body then, which I really like. I think there's going to be one modification that I'm going to make, because on the sleeves you can just about make it out. You have the motif appears again just before the cuff. The colour that I should have on the sleeve should be this. So it would be quite a subtle, but I'm hoping I'm going to have enough pink left that I'm actually going to do pink on the sleeves. I think that'll be a really nice touch to tie the colours together. So I'll have this flash of pink around my neck, and I'll have a flash of pink on both of the cuffs. That's my plan. So I'm not going to finish. This is going to be a slow knitting project. This will be a long-term one. You know, at some point I will make some progress on this. I'm hoping that by the end of October, when the knit along finishes, I might have finished the yoke. That would be a stretch plan. If I can get the yoke done by the end of October, which is all of September and all of October, even if it's only an hour a night, that's like 9-10 hours of knitting. That feels doable if I don't put any more knitting time in it at all. So I'm hoping I can do that. But we'll see. But what I did do is I did a very small, tiny swatch after that. And this is on a 4.5mm needle. This was on a 3.75. And this was on a 4.5. And I know I'm saying I'm going to get into swatching, and I know this is the wrong swatch because it should be much bigger so you can test the stitch in the middle. But I kind of knew that based on what I've knit before on Max's patterns and what Kieran had done, I kind of knew I'd have to go to a 4.5, I think. So I just did a little swatch on a 4.5 to check the fabric and just see that it was okay. So that's what I'm going to cast on with. But I thought I'd mention the swatch because as I said before, I'm by no means a swatching expert. I don't do it. I kind of just wing it and hope for the best. But because this was a colour work project and it's knit in the round, I wanted to swatch in the round because I know, and I mentioned it before on my the squares I made for the jumper, I know my tension differs between my knit rows and my purl rows. So if I wanted to check the tension on this, if I knit it flat, my tension wouldn't be the same as the tension that I would get by knitting in the round. And I know lots of you out there will be watching this and will know that because you're all super experienced knitters, but there might be some newer knitters that don't really swatch or haven't understood that before. And certainly knitting in the round, you're just knitting every stitch and it gives you stockinette, the flat stitching. Whereas when you knit back and forth, to get the stockinette, you have to knit a row and purl a row. And if your tension is even between your knits and your purls, that's okay. You can probably get away with just flat swatching. But if your tension is different between your knits and your purls, then there's almost no point you swatching flat for an in the round project because you're not going to be getting the same tension as you would in the round. So the way that I watched a couple of videos on doing this, and I said I'm by no means an expert, I'm just telling you what I did. I cast on the number of stitches and then I knit. But what I did when I got to the end then is I slid it back and then I moved the yarn. I kept a couple of loops to show you. So I then took the yarn from that side and I pulled it round and then I knit again. And then I slid it back and then I pulled the yarn across and I knit. And you basically, every time, it's almost like doing an I-cord if you've ever done that, but instead of knitting a row, turning it round to purl it, you need to do it on a circular needle because of course if you've got a traditional flat knitting needle, you've got the bump on the end and you can't slide it. But you basically just keep knitting each row, almost like a typewriter. So you knit your row, slide it to the end, knit a row, slide it to the end, and you just bring the yarn, keep it loose around the back, around. Now, this form of swatching does use a lot of yarn compared to a flat when you would just knit back and forth, knit and purl. But what you would then do is with these long loops, you just cut them. As you can see, I've cut all of these and I've got all these ends. But what that means is it's a much more accurate representation of your tension, and then you count your stitches. So that's how I knit this. So I then did it the same as I would with a normal swatch and I have swatched in the past. I joke, I don't do it very often. But you would then give it a wash, rinse it out gently and then pin it out and then just count your stitches and see what tension you got. So there's my swatch. This is going to be a hide and peek by Max Cyr, and as I said, by no means a tutorial on swatching. Go and check out some videos. Very Pink Knits, Stacey is one of my go-to knitting online tutors. If you like, Stacey's got hundreds of videos on all forms of knitting techniques, and there is one about swatching and swatching in the round. So go and check out some other professional knitters to get some proper hints and tips on swatching. But I did really enjoy doing this swatch, and I feel like I could become a swatcher. But I'm really excited to see how this develops. So if nothing else, during this month, you will see 4 hours worth of knitting. So we'll see how far I get to show this off. But having done all of these things, I knit for Mark and the nieces and the nephew, and I don't do a lot for me. Like even the habitation throw blanket is kind of for me, but it's kind of for the flat. So I wanted to do something, and it's been ages since I made a jumper for myself. I finished my bubble cardigan in the spring just before Wonderwool Wales, and I've not knit anything for myself really since then. So I'm doing some selfish knitting and I'm doing something for me. So I've got that is living in this giant project bag. I've got all the wool. This is by Gemma of the Little Grey Girl. Obviously, if you've been here a while, you know I love Gemma's bags. And that is it. So that is all of my whips for the month. And actually sitting down chatting to you all about it now, I've got fluff from the alpaca off Mark's jumper still. I've made more progress than I thought I did. And it's nice then when you actually sit down and talk about it and show it all off. Stash acquisitions then is how we kind of usually finish. I'm not going to go into any great detail. Hop back and see my Stitches on the Sand video if you haven't yet watched it. The only yarn I bought this month was what I bought at Stitches. So I had this commissioned project bag from Gemma of the Biz, and there is some lovely yarn, some sort of Kingfisher inspired there's reds and browns for Mark, and of course my Defying Gravity yarn that I think could be DK socks, bubble sweater, and then DK socks. I think that's where my head is going at the moment, but I'm not going to go into any more detail on these because I talked about these in detail on the Stitches in the Sand video at the end. So if you haven't yet watched that and you want to see what I've topped my stash up with this month, go back and check out the Stitches video and you can go through those. The other thing that's come into the house, but is a subscription, is the latest Toft quarterly magazine. So this is 5 knitting and 5 crochet patterns every quarter. And I think this is the, I'm going to get it wrong, 20th pattern? No, 20th book? Hang on. It's the 6th year of the Toft Quarterly and the 21st collection. Yeah, so it's been going for many years now. I've managed to get lots of the back editions. I think I've only got 3. Oh, there's only 3 that I don't have in my collection now. But there's loads of lovely patterns in this. And you can get this on the Toft website. So I'm glad that I've now got this one. And there's going to be another cast on in September. You know I love a bandwagon and I love to get on board with things, and I've got wool in my stash that I can use, but last year, in the summer I think it was, you may remember if you've been here a while, I made the giraffe hat and matching mittens for Mark. That was the Serengeti hat, and that came from one of the Toft Quarterlies, and Kerry ran a knit along, because of course they're predominantly crochet because of all the animals and the dolls, but they are a knitting brand as well, and they did a knit along to do the hat. They're going to do another knit along now this autumn, and I think it starts in September. I think it's September. They talk about it in here. Yeah, Toft Autumn KAL starting in September, and we're going to be making this hat on the cover. So this hat is the Merlon hat, and you can see it there in chocolate brown without a bobble, or the cream on the front. I can show you that way with a bobble. I've actually got some Aran yarn from Toft left in my stash from when I made a giant sloth. So I haven't got enough to do one whole colour, but I've got some cream, some camel, like a lighty brown, and some chocolate. So I need to work out maybe some form of stripe sequence or a kind of mini fade-ish. But I'm gonna hopefully join in because I love a bandwagon. I love a knit along and a crochet along. So I'm looking forward to making that in September. But that's gonna be with a Kerry Lord Toft knit along or crochet along. It's a bite-sized piece every day. So when I did the Serengeti one, it's like 5 rows a day. So I can literally get up, I can do my 5 or 6 rows, and then I can go to work. So I'm going to do that. So there'll be that as a new cast on in September, definitely. And finishing all the other things I've talked about. Right, so I did say this wouldn't be very long, and I think I've gabbled on? I don't know what I'm trying to say. I've chatted for a while about lots of these projects in a bit more depth. Maybe because I haven't had that many finished objects, I've had time to talk in a bit more detail. Because I try to keep these under an hour, where possible. That's kind of the duration that I like on my videos. I know there are lots of podcasters out there that 2, even 3 hour videos, and I struggle to watch them in lots of sit-ins as well. So I try to keep these under an hour. But I guess then just to finish with what's coming up then, so there's the secret jumper I will be able to share with you, and that will be launched later this month, which is super exciting. So check out my Instagram, no doubt, for pictures on that if you can't wait a month. to see all about that project. The men's knit along, as I said, I'm going to hopefully make a lot of progress on that one, but I'm really excited about that. And thanks to Carmen from A Yarn Story for hosting the knit along. I said you can still get your ticket, pop along. I'll put the details in the description box below if you want to get a ticket to join in with one of Max's patterns. And then I guess in terms of videos, so 2 weekends time is the Unravel Festival. It is the Autumn Unravel, which is super exciting. If you are going, please find me, come and say hi. I'm going to be working the weekend with Gemma of The Little Grey Girl. Gemma asked me if I would help her out on her stand. So I'm going to travel to Gemma's after work on Wednesday night. We're going to travel up together on the Thursday morning to load in. And the show is the Friday and Saturday, which I think is the 9th and 10th. Let me check. It is the 9th and 10th is the show. So if you're going to be at Unravel, come and find me on Gemma's stand and say hi. That'll be lots of fun. So there'll be a video, of course, behind the scenes at a yarn show. On that one, there's a video coming up on Mark's jumper, which will be super fun eventually. Should be later this month, maybe in 2 weeks' time. I'm not putting a date on it. It'll be this month. There might be an Ava the Ladybird video from Toft if I can pull my finger out and get my ladybird done and make it interesting. You don't want to see me crochet, or maybe we can do a speed video or something. I don't know. There might be an Ava the Ladybird. There will be an Imaginist video for you crochet lovers. I've done it again. I've waited until the last month of the quarter, and I've not even started to think about my Imaginist entry. I was going to get the nieces to help. Now I think I've left it too late because they're both going to be going back to school. I don't know when I can easily see them to get them to draw me a monster. So I need to think about what I'm going to do with my Imaginist entry. Because I really enjoyed taking part in the last two and trying to be a bit creative. But that's another new project I need to start. So there might be an Imaginist video. The Q&A video, Mark has now got the questions that he's going to ask me. Thank you for all your feedback. I just need to sit down and find the time with him to record. That might be September, that might be October now. We will see. But the most important and exciting thing that will be coming up during September is there will be getting ready for Vlogtober. So if you are new here and you haven't, if you just joined me this year, in October, there's a bit of a thing that a lot of YouTube channels do where called Vlogtober, and you vlog during October, and lots of people try and do a vlog a day. I won't be doing a vlog a day like last time. I don't think I have enough content to do something every day, and it's a lot of work. But Vlogtober ties in really neatly with the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, and Stephen put out on his social media this weekend that it's coming. I think it's called Twists and Turns. Maybe some cables. I'm hoping no brioche, obviously, but there might be brioche, no doubt. And yeah, that will be the focus of my Vlogtober. So we'll probably end up with 2 or 3 videos a week. 2 a week was my aim. I think there were some weeks I ended up with 3 because there was a few more things to talk about, but 2 videos a week. So you'll go from fortnightly to maybe weekly to maybe twice a week. And yeah, that will all be focused predominantly on knitting and the West Knits Knit Along, which I'm really excited about. So at some point during September as well, there will be an introduction to Vlogtober and kind of a preview of the Mystery Knit Along. I'm also hoping to do some joint videos during the Knit Along with Irina from Fibre Chats. I've spoken to Irina, I've been interviewed by her on her channel, and I think we're going to do something kind of like a joint video where maybe she'll join us here on our channel, and then I'll go and join her on her channel, and we'll kind of do like a what are we looking forward to preview of the Knit Along, maybe a halfway catch up, and then maybe a live at the end or something. So that's, I'm chatting to Irina now about what that looks like, but September is going to be super fun and busy with lots of videos. Into Vlogtober, then we have the calmness of November when we'll go back to fortnightly, maybe. There'll be at least one video because I'll have to do my October wrap up. But November was a bit of an odd month last time because I was like, I don't know what to talk about now because I've spent a month talking to you for Vlogtober. And then December, we go into Vlogmas. which if Mark and I get away as planned to Scandinavia, Vlogmas will be an international affair where I'll be able to blog while I'm on holiday, which will be super fun if I can do that. And then we can do some live yarn shop tours and all the rest. So I've got loads of fun stuff hopefully coming for the rest of this year, but certainly September's going to be a busy one, which is why I want to finish Mark's jumper. Really, really, really want to try and make as much progress as I can during September, because I know October's coming and a West Knit shawl is a fun project. And I know loads of you found me last year and the year before for me doing my West Knit shawls. And a lot of you are here for that West Knits content. But it's a big shawl to do. You know, a 4 or 5 skein shawl in a month is a lot of knitting. And I therefore know I won't get that much knitting time done with him on his jumper. So September needs to be focused on Mark. You can remind me all of this next month when I do my September wrap up. And it's still not, the back is still not off the needles. No, I think he would kick me out if he'd just take the wool off me and he'll pay someone else to finish it. Maybe he'll pay Jenny in my local yarn shop to knit it quicker. But yeah, I think that is everything. Thank you so much for being here. I do really love these monthly wrap-ups because I love going out and about and finding different things to film and following specific projects, but I love just sitting down, having a cup of tea, and I love chatting to some of you in the comments, and I see all of your comments. I know I don't respond to all of them. I get a bit overwhelmed by the comments, but I do read all of your comments, and where people have asked questions about what yarn was that or where did that come from, I really try and answer as many of those, and it's really lovely seeing the same names pop up over and over again. It feels like I'm in your house, sitting down with a cup of tea, having a little chat, and I hope it feels like that when we just get to sit down and knit together. So thank you for your company. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button if you found me or keep coming back and you don't subscribe. It really does help me to grow my channel, and we're on our way to 6,000 subscribers, which it just still blows my little mind that all of you are here and giving me all the support, and we have such an engaged community. You all watch, you know, so many of you watch the videos regularly, which is just fantastic. So a huge thank you from me to you for being here on my crazy Knit365 and Crochet365 journey. So yeah, I'm going to finish my coffee. I think I can hear the TV on in the background, so I think I've probably chatted for too long and a little bit too loud, and I've probably woken Mark up now. So I'm going to go take him a cup of tea. But I hope that you've enjoyed this video and there's been something in there of interest for you. I hope that you are all keeping well. I will be back shortly, soon, with another video or 2 or 3. I said, if you're going to be at Unravel, come and find me and Gemma. Come and say hi. That'll be amazing. And I'm going to leave it there. So until we speak again, happy crafting.